I became a patient of Dr. Loeys in 2013 after being diagnosed with appendiceal cancer during a hysterectomy. Like some of the doctors talked earlier, they thought I had uterine cancer. They saw something behind my uterus. And that was on a Thursday. I was in surgery Monday, and they did a hysterectomy. Afterwards, they told me that they had found a tumor on my appendix and said that they were going to send me to UCSD. I was a Kaiser patient at the time, and they do not have a HIPEC surgeon, at least at the time they did not. And come to find out, it was actually a blessing in disguise. They did not try to treat me. They actually sent me to UCSD, and I became a patient of Dr. Loeys. I sent my pathology and my report to Debbie, and she got back with me within an hour. She was great. She talked to me on the phone about it, scheduled a consult with me, and I came down and met Debbie and Dr. Lowy. From the get-go, they were both very considerate and answered all of my questions. I know that they had already answered from a million other patients before me. I was scared, had a lot of questions and concerns, and I definitely had a lot of questions. Some of the things that came up was, would I have to have systemic chemo? Would I have to have another surgery? And the answer was yes. I was scheduled for surgery 3 months after my first one. Finding out it was very rare, I had a reaction from my family and also myself. I thought I'd never heard of this before, didn't know anyone could get cancer of the appendix. So I was convinced that when I was here, I was convinced that I was in the best place possible. They're very professional. They've dedicated their time and knowledge to learn more about the disease, treatments, and cures. And they do treat each case individually, and I've learned this through the Ambassador program. They have a way of putting patients' concerns at ease. And as Debbie and Dr. Lowy told me, when I asked them about this cancer being rare, they did say that cancer of the appendix is rare, but not here at UCSD. They do treat many patients from all over the world. I recently met a woman that came here all the way from China, spent several months here receiving care. And I did walk away from my consultation that day knowing that I was in the right place at the right time, and I felt very lucky that I was a good candidate for the HIPEC, and my surgery was scheduled October 18th, 2013, so I'm coming up on my 2-year here. The morning of my surgery, I was amazed at the surgical team that was working with me and how everything seemed so orchestrated. From the nurses to the anesthesiologists to the doctors, everyone was focused on me and making sure that I was comfortable. My family was also very appreciative of the constant updates that they received from the surgical room that day and the positive and informative report from Dr. Lowy immediately following my surgery. My experiences during my stay at Thornton Hospital were positive as well. The nurses were caring and encouraging, and the interns and doctors were a welcome sight each morning. Some of the nurses cared for me for several days. I had never had that experience in a hospital before where the nurses got to really know me and I got to know them. I actually became quite fond of them. I was also impressed that Dr. Lowy came by every single day to see me. I looked forward to his visits in the afternoons, and that Debbie actually came by too when she could to say hello. I never did feel alone. I always knew that I had the support team there for me. So maintaining that positive attitude, trusting Dr. Lowy wholeheartedly, and being at peace with it all, I feel contributed to my quick recovery. I was in the hospital 6 nights, 7 days. Although the diagnosis of cancer was scary, I feel very blessed that UCSD was able to treat me with surgery and HIPEC, and as far as I'm concerned, if you have to have cancer, this is the one to have. I had very few, if any, side effects outside of recovery from surgery. In fact, my HIPEC surgery was easier to recover from than my hysterectomy was. So I'm coming up here on 2 years cancer-free, and I feel great. I'm enjoying every day, and I'm grateful to Dr. Lowy, Debbie, Kate, and the entire UCSD HIPEC team who have been there for me every step of the way. One of the greatest honors I have is working with some of my favorite people here at the UCSD as a HIPEC ambassador. I'm passionate about helping patients who are diagnosed with PMP and who are facing surgery and HIPEC. I was there once. I walked in their shoes, so I know how scary it can be. I'm hoping that we can recruit some more ambassadors here today, so if you're a former HIPEC patient, make sure that you stop and see me sometime today, or you can email me. There actually is a HIPEC website, so you can go there and find my information. But every patient and family member that I talk with are important to me. I feel like together we have this special bond, which could hopefully form into lifelong friendships. So we would love to have you on our team. And thank you so much, Debbie, Dr. Lowy, and the HIPEC team for what you do.
Hi, my name is Andy Sewell. My story began in the fall of 2010. Initially, it was just a nausea I had that was a symptom. I thought it was stress-related. I'm in a high-stress job, so I just sort of chugged along. By early 2011, I had lower right quad pain and nausea. April 25th, 2011, my wife takes me into the emergency room. They do labs. Labs come back fine. They do a scan, say there's something on the appendix. The head general surgeon believed it to be appendicitis, and that night my appendix was removed. He came back, said everything was fine, but they were sending it to pathology. April 27th, we were given the pathology results. It came back as mucinous adenocarcinoma, high grade. Again, the head of general surgery researched my cancer. He'd only seen it one time in his career and spoke to specialists. He recommended hemicolectomy, removal of lymph nodes, but said that there was no cancer left in my body. And the appendix had never ruptured. And said going forward I'd need CT scans post-surgery. Hearing this news, my wife and I immediately began to sort of research this cancer, and we came across PNP PALS, which has just been phenomenal for us, much like other people here. We called 4 facilities. No one would speak to us over the phone. They had to have us there. The only people that would speak to us was Debbie, which was great. She was phenomenal over the phone, really put us at ease and really built a rapport with us. And we came down and visited Dr. Lowy. And, it was a very good experience with Dr. Lowy. And on May 10th, we actually came down and visited. They confirmed the diagnosis here at UCSD, the pathology department. Dr. Lowy recommended HIPEC, cytoreductive surgery, and I was scheduled for surgery on July 1st, 2011. During the surgery, Dr. Lowy found 9 areas of mucin and 2 tumors forming. I was in surgery for 5.5 hours, considered to be complete HIPEC CRS. Routine post-surgery was labs every 3 months, CEA and CA-99, and MRIs every 6 months. November 2012, CA-99 came back elevated, but not high, just increasing. Scan 10 days later showed something on the MRI. Second lab showed, blood labs showed higher marker values, and we were scheduled again for a repeat HIPEC CRS, December 27th, 2012. Going into that surgery, I was in surgery for 1.5 hours, and Dr. Lowy came out to talk to my wife and said he had great news. That it appeared that when they took out my appendix, they did it laparoscopically, and that a cell had got lodged in my abdomen muscle and been encased. And so there was clear margins, it was taken out, and no HIPEC was performed. I've had no disease since December 27, 2012. And I just want to really thank Dr. Lowy and Debbie and PNP PALS and my wife and my family.
My name is Heidi Yellen. About 3 weeks before my HIPEC surgery, a box arrived from Amazon, which wasn't all that unusual. I opened it up and it had the following Wonder Woman cup, a Wonder Woman blanket, this should be familiar to Dr. Lowy, a Wonder Woman figurine, a Wonder Woman crown, remember me walking around? And this T-shirt. I'm not saying I'm Wonder Woman. I'm just saying nobody has ever seen me and Wonder Woman in the same room together. The box was from my daughter. She said that I needed to pretend that I was a superhero with super healing powers. When I came to find out is that the reason I survived stage 4 appendiceal cancer was that I was surrounded by many, many superheroes. It was the fall of 2013, and for months I was not feeling too well. Dr. Lowy's laughing because he has no idea what's going to be coming out of my mouth. I had an odd pain in my belly, and I have a cast iron stomach. Nothing upsets my stomach. And the symptoms would get worse, they would get better. They would get worse, they would get better. After a handful of months, tests that were mostly inconclusive, and a short stay in the hospital in Los Angeles, I was brought in with what was supposed to be a 45-minute exploratory surgery, ended up to be a 5-hour surgery. And this was at Holy Cross Hospital in the San Fernando Valley, which is where we live. The surgeon came out to tell my husband that I had mucinous adenocarcinoma of the appendix. What? The cancer had destroyed my appendix, wrapped itself around the right ureter, plopped itself on my small intestine. So the first surgery, I had a colostomy bag for 9 months, a stent put into my right ureter, which I still have, and will have for the rest of my life because the cancer permanently damaged the right ureter with scar tissue, and had my uterus and ovaries taken out, and they already did a good job. My daughter's sitting there. She's one of the good jobs that came out of the uterus and the ovaries. He's laughing. He doesn't know what's coming. While I spent 11 days recovering from major surgery, my team of superheroes went into action. My daughter immediately started researching what it was. My son made plans to come out from Texas. My doctors and surgeons in LA watched me around the clock. Family and friends from all over the world called, sent cards, made visits, and my number one superhero, my husband of 46 years, my very own Superman, would not leave my side. We were ready to do whatever it took to destroy this nasty arch nemesis that just invaded our lives like we were real-life Avengers. My daughter researched what this disease was and immediately came across PMP Pals and the network of survivors. The blog said that the most important thing in treating this disease is to get the proper diagnosis, number one. Number two, immediately get to one of a very small group of doctors who treat this disease. That led us to my next favorite superhero, Dr. Lowy, AKA Captain America. He got on the phone with my family, discussed my case, looked at my files we sent down, and asked to see me here at UCSD within a few weeks when I was ready to come. During our visit, we mapped out the plan to destroy this mighty villain. We had our superheroes team at UCSD, Debbie, Dr. Lowy, all the wonderful nurses, and our superheroes team in Los Angeles working closely together to save the universe. Well, it was my universe. Dr. Lowy, Captain America, worked closely with my 2 oncologists in the San Fernando Valley. My job as Wonder Woman was to focus on myself, my strength, trying to walk as much as possible, even though I would get so tired, doing things that made me happy, being with family and friends and working, trying to look as good as I could each and every day with makeup and clothes. Dr. Lowy was the first doctor that ever said to me, "You're wearing makeup." Then I let the other warriors take care of everything else for me, from cooking meals, giving my Superman a reprieve, and researching ways to make me feel better undergoing treatment. By the time August 8th came around, the day of my reversal of the colostomy and the HIPEC treatment, which luckily I was a candidate for, I had my full army by my side, which gave me the superpower strength, mind, body, and spirit, once and for all, to destroy this ugly enemy. What we all know for sure is cancer just sucks, and that's me being really nice about it. Medically, there are so many reasons that I survived this nasty disease that you have heard and will hear about today. Emotionally, I could sit here for hours and go down the list of everyone who supported me, came with me to chemotherapy treatments, called, sent cards and flowers, brought meals over to my husband and me, and as you can tell, I also have a very good sense of humor. This humor was an escape for all of us to focus on a positive when underneath we knew that there was a possible not too great outcome. Dr. Lowy walked out of surgery with the biggest smile on his face after he had taken every organ out and examined each organ and found no cancer. Actually, my husband, who's 6'1", was going to pick him up and hug him, but he was afraid he was going to break his ribs because my husband is so strong. No one knows why he didn't find any cancer, but we are so grateful. The moral of my superhero adventure is that when fighting to save the galaxy or your life, you cannot do it alone. You must surround yourself with the strongest and the most powerful group of superheroes you can find and let them use their own superpowers to help save you. I'm now swimming 90 laps every day. I was training for a half marathon, but walking in over 100-degree temperature in the San Fernando Valley was not so cool. I've signed up for a 10K with City of Hope in November, which will be a piece of cake. I've been asked to go on a humanitarian mission to Cuba as a special educator. And the love of my life and I are taking salsa and bachata lessons because we're going to Aruba for our 46th wedding anniversary. I don't see tomorrow. I see today and I brace today like there is no tomorrow. As Bob Marley said, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice that you have. I carry this Wonder Woman keychain around with me, and my daughter has a matching one, as a reminder of the battle that we went through. I'm going to die, but it will never be from cancer because I am a cancer killer.